loving these, doing live videos for you. On Thursdays, Thursday's my day, and it's usually going to be noon. And I will be starting with whatever I'll be doing. So sometimes I'll be a character, sometimes it'll just be me. Today I'm going to share something from my journal and talk with you about why I meditate. Because it's what came up. I had a thought it'd be fun to just scroll through an old journal, and sometimes I like to just close my eyes and pull something out and turn to something and just see what comes up. And just know that that's kind of, it's like oracling. So finding something that's up. And then it happened to also be up for some other people in my life. So I thought I'd share. Because a lot of times people ask me about meditation and why I do it and how I do it. And I think sometimes people have fear around it. I don't know what I would do. And I understand it can be scary to think of being alone with one's thoughts. And part of why I do it is so that I don't feel alone anymore, to feel that connection. Hello, James. So what I'm going to do in these is I will share my piece up front so that when people watch back, they can just dive right into what we're doing. And then after that, I'll take your thoughts and your questions, and we'll have a bit of a dialogue. So this was the journal that I turned to randomly this morning, and it was from last year in July. So this random thing that I turned to, random, as if there is such a thing. Sure, we can call it random. 22nd of July, which was a Friday last year, and this is a poem that I wrote. So a lot of people, just similar to meditation, they're like, I don't like meditation. I don't like poetry. Fair enough. There are so many different kinds, though, of poetry. Rap is poetry. Muhammad Ali was certainly a poet in how he spoke. And there are so many different kinds of meditation, too. So I'll share a little bit. But first, a window into a spontaneous poem from me last year. I remember silence, pristine scene of endless clean, wraps any haps in a blanket of green. I remember stillness, that calm, penumbral pause betwixt and between. Breathe, and that is all there is, between thoughts toot-tooing and froing. I remember that night years ago, when in the absence of activity's flow, there was a something that did not go. Betwixt and between the bedsheets all clean was a buzz, like a hive, so alive it seemed sprung from inside. Surely not, came the thought, and I uppity got, to turn off and unplug from ceiling to rug any possible current that might serenade me. But lying abed with this buzz round my head, I realized the current was simply what made me. The song of my energy, discord and harmony called my attention to play with the frequency. Attention gives unity, tunity, and like a flashlight to laser beam hones, I played with the tones to intune my coherence, and time over time culled out interference. Years later, I learned meditation techniques that opened more pipes through which the divine speaks. And now, as I sit in this sweet island home, farthest cry from LA, where cacophony foams, I remember the silence, while the pulse of my flow tunes with the universe so that my body and sound become the great Om. Bombarded by beauty I cannot tune out, I surrender my silence, the cloud of that silence. My heart sings new silence. I join the great shout. So, there was a bit of a random poem. But for me, that speaks to one of the two things that I love about meditation. And one is just, is there a way to, there we go. Huh, okay. So, one of the things that I do is to cultivate that calm in my life. You know, so often I'll go from one thing to the next, or I really used to just go from one thing to the next and kind of carry whatever energy I was in into the next moment. But when I can just take even 30 seconds or 2 minutes to just sit and calm myself, I will handle everything so much better. And it helps me feel that connection. I've done some guided meditations on here, but when my spine is quite straight and I'm tuned into my breathing, and there are a few practices that I could get into if people are interested, I feel, just like I was talking about in here, that connection, that I am one with this whole universe. Not only one with, we are the universe, y'all. We're a perspective. So I'm the universe, to my mind, I'm the universe looking out through the lens and filters of Amy Walker, of this constellation of Amy. And you are the exact same universe. You know, all of us on the quantum level are holograms of the entire universe. But how fascinating that you're the same universe looking out through a different personality, a different perspective. So fascinating. In fact, it's so fascinating to me that I'm an actor, because I love trying on different perspectives. But given that that's my life, to take those moments and just reconnect and know that I'm not alone, and know that there is a larger dance going on here. Yes, there's a lot going on with healthcare right now. There's a lot going on with all sorts of things in our life. And yes, on a very physical, important level, it's important to take those actions, absolutely. And we do that. And then also to know, to just trust for a moment, okay, I don't have to make everything happen. I'm a part of this larger dance. Really helps me. Really helps me. So that's one of the 2 reasons why I meditate. I'm distilling infinite reasons into sort of 2 main ones. So that joy, that connection, that calm peace is just such a yummy feeling to me that I love to cultivate it. And then the other thing is that it's from that space. It's an incredible tool then to utilize certain practices to really dive into the personal work for me of, boy, what emotions are coming up for me today, or what wants to be looked at for me. And emotions are such a great window because they're a pretty intense alert system. They're like, look at something right now, feel something. And maybe it's loneliness. So I can go, okay, from my place of feeling really centered in my spine and lifted in here and connected into the earth and connected into the universe, from that place of feeling calm and dropping into my breath. I haven't done a Vipassana retreat yet. We'll get into Q&A in just a moment. But I love it. My mom did it. I think it's amazing. And I've done silent retreats. So connecting into, okay, this is the emotion that's up right now. Let me go into it. It's not going to go away unless I feel it. You know, and I was just talking today in a session. It's so funny because we have this thing, and I certainly have too, of like, oh, okay, just need to get done with those bad emotions or done with the fear or done with the hatred so that I can like live my life. I don't want to go there. I'll just let me just be done with that so that I can be joyful, right? Certainly felt that. But here's the thing. All we're doing here is experiencing. That's it. That's really at its fundamental level. We're just experiencing. Fear has no inherent value as a good or bad. Joy has no inherent value. So what if this emotion that's up right now is up right now because that's exactly what I'm here to feel in this moment. It's exactly my purpose right now. So if I can go into that, it can alert me to something that's a belief about, wow, that emotion has been tied to this belief that Well, one, that I'm alone on a fundamental level, when we know scientifically that's just incredibly not true. But maybe I have a belief about, like, oh, I'm this age and I'm supposed to be with my person at this time. So, geez, I should, flog myself with that expectation that hasn't been met. Okay, or I could look into that expectation and see how I created that and see, is that really helping me right now to have that belief? No, maybe I could change that. So it can be a wonderful doorway in. And I'm happy to share more modes in if anyone's interested. But I'd love to hear what you guys have. Does anybody here meditate? Do you have any questions or thoughts about it? Somebody mentioned Vipassana retreat. Hello. So wonderful to connect with you all. So wonderful. Another thing that I do in meditation is I quite literally send what I call vibes, positive vibes, out to all of you. I really do. To everyone watching the videos, to everyone who's been supporting my work all these years. It really means so, so much to me, and I just send that loving energy to you all every day. Thank you, Francesco. Do I meditate to sing? Ooh! Wow. Well, okay, there are two ways I could answer that question. Yes. I meditate before I'm so glad you feel the vibes. I meditate before I perform, or I meditated before I did this, or before I record something, for sure. But in the poem, what I was alluding to is that we're all music. We're all energy. And one of the ways that we experience energy is through these ears. And how we experience energy through our ears is by hearing it. And as you know, I can hear a lot of particular, very specific things about sounds. And so hearing my energy has become a fascinating way to pay attention to what's going on in my energy field. Like, for example, when I have had sugar, which I don't do very often, because when I have had it, my energy sounds like it makes everything really erratic in my energy field. So so that is a way of singing. Is prayer a form of meditation? That's interesting. That's kind of a square rectangle question. So it can be. What often happens with prayer is that, and I'll get to that question in a moment. Feel free to ask it again if I don't get to it. Prayer, I think sometimes people forget that when they ask for something, to listen for the answer. We can just talk and ask, but not take the time to listen to the answer. So for me, meditation is feeling that connection, and when I'm feeling that connection and I'm outside of my little brain trying to make up answers to it, then I can ask for the guidance, and then I take the time to pay attention to what I'm receiving in that guidance. So if your form of prayer is a way of being quiet and still and asking for guidance, or asking for something, or praying for something and then receiving guidance, then yes, it is a form of meditation. You went to Vipassana when you struggled with depression years ago. You've been meditating ever since. How was your mom's experience? My mom loves it, and she is now practicing. She sits every day, and that is her form of meditation. And what was the other question? Somebody asked. While you're asking that question that I told you to answer again because I might forget it, I will say that I have done silent retreat, and I love it. There's something deeply... interesting, Leo. There's something deeply calming to me about just closing my mouth and not talking. I love it. In fact, I love it so much that if I didn't also love singing, I would do it more often. Cool. I think you're gonna send it again. The yawn have any function in meditation? The yawn well, a yawn is an indication that you don't have enough oxygen. So, meditating like a Jedi. So that's what that is. Do I have strange dreams during your experience? By dreams, if you mean visions, I often do visualize things. So I've done things such as I've practiced in several different modalities. I've done training for a year and a half in Nakota, Native American medicine and ceremonial ways. So we did a lot of meditation there, and I had a lot of visioning. I did a 3 days of vision fast with no food or water or light in a dark lodge. That was super powerful. In fact, the song that I've shared in video and that I shared in India with those incredible women, I'm shining my light through the darkness, through the cracks. I'm shining my light, that song, through the darkness. That came to me in meditation. Back to that one question about, do you meditate to sing? Got a song in there. There was a question about, do I dream in different accents? You know, love, I don't know. I most often speak in British accent around when I'm just me in my home or wherever I am in my car. So, for sure. I forget. And then I pick up a phone and get used to answering in whatever accent. What should I do when my mind starts to get distracted by my worries while I'm meditating? Wonderful question, Benny. So it happens. It totally happens. And one way that I like to visualize, and it depends on the practice you're doing. If you're doing like a Buddhist practice, it's a different way. But if I'm noticing, oh, here's my brain doing like if you've ever played pinball, it's like it can do that little pinball thing where it's going bing, 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 bing between the different thoughts. And I notice that, and then I just take the energy and I breathe it right down the back of my spine, keeping my spine really long, and breathing that down into the earth. It can really help to ground down into the core of the earth. And then to inhale that love, that red magma, loving energy up through my spine, and feel it as a current connecting up through, is it just a really general, nonpartisan way of meditating, and lifting that up through the crown here, and then straight up into the sky. So when I can do that, it's really helpful to just like drop back into paying attention to the breath and my spine. But it also depends on, maybe you're doing a practice. So maybe there's a mantra that you'd like to repeat, or an om. Can be a nice mantra, or Om Shanti, peace. Om Padme could be nice. Or I also can use it for a specific purpose, so like to ask a question and then receive guidance. So anytime my mind is wandering, I just continue to practice. And it gets easier the more you do it. I have time for about one more question. Somebody asked, when am I going to do another scope? You know, I think I'm not really going to scope anymore. I think I'm just loving doing these. So that's what I'm going to do. Learned a lot from my videos. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ilker, I would love to know how to pronounce your name properly, but thank you. That means a lot to me. Could I share with us one of your favorite mantras? Yeah, well, Om is one. I love to just say love, 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 love. And I say it throughout the day. Hello in the Philippines. I say it throughout the day. Love, love, love. And in fact, if I notice myself like being hard on myself, I'll go love. And I'll breathe in, love. And I'll breathe out, love, love, love. Because love is something that I can feel in my body, and I know when I'm feeling it. And so just feeling love, sometimes doing it in your own language, whatever that is, can be really nice. Sometimes doing it not in your own language is nice. So that's my favorite. Yes, okay. So to answer your question, we'll take this next minute, and I'm going to sing this song, which can be a kind of meditation, and then we'll end this video with love. So as we do this, you know, song can be a vessel for intention and prayer too. Yay! I'm glad you like to grocery shop as an Aussie. So we're going to sing this song, and it goes, and I encourage you to sing it aloud. Totally, wherever you are. So it goes, ooh, I have a drum! I just got this drum. Yay! And I use this often when I just co-led a red tent ceremony, or I do prayer circles on the full moon and new moon. I'm shining my light through darkness, through the cracks in our old world, I'm shining my light through the darkness, so we can hatch a brighter world. So you can put any of your prayers into this right now. Prayers for healthcare for all. Prayers for health for all, and love and peace and goodwill in Italy, everywhere around the world. I'm shining my light. You can do a repeat if you want. So I go, I'm shining my light, I'm shining my light. You can do it that way. Ready? I'm shining my light through the darkness, through the cracks in our old world. I'm shining my light through the darkness, so we can hatch a brighter world. We're gonna sing We're shining our light through the darkness, through the cracks in our old world. I'm shining our light through the darkness, so we can hatch a brighter world. One more time. We're shining our light through the darkness, through the cracks in our old world. We're shining our light through the darkness, so we can hatch a brighter world, so we can hatch a brighter world. Et je t'aime in Montreal. Thank you all. Much love. We are connected. I'll see you next Thursday at 10:30 instead of noon, because I'll be on my way to the airport. So if you have any other questions, bring them to me at 10:30 Pacific time next Thursday. Vibes to you. Love you. Thank you so much.